There's two things I want you to be on the lookout for. Both of them are going to change the way you look at media. The second one is the main thrust of this video. First one, you ever notice how sitcoms just aren't funny anymore? This actually kind of started like decades ago, and ever since I noticed it, it seems to become more and more prevalent. See, instead of having writers who can actually write comedy, they're having these people write sitcoms that are creating cringe moments. All they're doing is orchestrating scenarios that put characters in situations designed to make the audience cringe, and then actively try to convince you that it's funny by adding a nice dose of laugh track.
Like this famous clip from Seinfeld.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, I thought this was the baby's room. I'm really sorry.
Now, I want you to stop and actually analyze that scene for a moment. Is it awkward? Yeah. Are you cringing for George? Absolutely. But is it actually funny? No. And I would make the argument that most sitcoms these days are built around this cringe factor, not around actually being funny.
Look at what happens when you remove the laugh track.
So this is the plan. From now on, we're just gonna hide out in here to avoid the shamey.
I'm very comfortable here. Penny dear, why don't you shoot another silver bullet my way?
Get one yourself.
Ooh, somebody's been taking bitchy pills.
God, he's an ass when he drinks.
Well, he's an ass when he doesn't. You just don't hear it.
Without the laugh track, that show becomes repulsive.
Now, I think I've discovered a second similar crutch in the latest travesty from Disney. Since creating actual horror and tension is clearly beyond the capabilities of these writers, it seems that they got the idea that instead, they can create tension simply by seeing which of their characters can make the dumbest decision the fastest.
Not so fast, y'all. You think you can just up and run away? You crazy. I like to eat people from other planets, especially y'all.
I like to eat you with my little mouth, too.
Alien Earth, yet another masterclass from the mouse on how to take one of the smartest, scariest franchises in history and sand it down into something that feels like a corporate group project where the only person who actually contributed was ChatGPT. Full disclosure, I'm done watching this abomination. It's not even fun to point and laugh at like The Acolyte.
The power of many.
Sure, we'll talk about the dumb choices every character seems addicted to and how the show bends way over backwards to insult the audience's intelligence, and why Disney seems absolutely determined to destroy every IP it touches like a kid pulling the wings off of flies. Stick around, because this isn't just about bad TV, it's about how Disney's creative bankruptcy is bleeding into everything they touch. So Alien Earth is set just a couple years before the original Alien, which is already a little suspicious. Prequels are like playing Jenga drunk. You're yanking pieces out of a structure that already worked perfectly, hoping it won't collapse.
Spoiler alert. They always collapse.
In here, that collapse starts early. The show tries to juggle corporate drama, class struggles, and space horror, but ends up making everyone involved look like they've got the survival instincts of a Roomba heading straight for the staircase. Let's talk about the characters. I swear every episode feels like it's a contest for who can win the Darwin Award of the week. I'm not even going to get into the moral implications of putting 12-year-olds in adult bodies and some of the adult issues that can... Scientist character. There's a strange goo dripping from the ceiling. Let me touch it with my bare hands. Security guy. The alarm system is fried. Should I stay at my post? Nah, let's wander off into the creepy, poorly lit corridor alone. Obligatory CEO stand-in played by a bargain rack Timothy Chalamet. We've just discovered a deadly alien life form. We should definitely weaponize it. What could go wrong? You know, I actually have to seriously ask the question. I'm being serious here. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being dead serious to the writers of the show. Have you actually watched any of the Alien properties before this, before you wrote this? Did you? I don't think you did. It's not coming off like you did, because there's a complete unawareness of why the original film worked. The original film worked because the people acted reasonably human. Ripley didn't want to let Kane back into the ship because it was dangerous.
Open the hatch.
Wait a minute. If we let it in, the ship could be infected. You know the quarantine procedure.
24 hours for decontamination.
It could die in 24 hours. Open the hatch.
No.
Logical, sensible. That is what made her the smartest person in the room. And let's not leave out everyone else. It wasn't just Ripley. Everyone on the Nostromo was an expert in their field. They were all professionals. I'd heard somebody give the analogy that it was like truckers in space. Absolutely. But here in Alien Earth, everyone acts like their brain was replaced by wet cardboard. The xenomorph, the perfect organism, the stuff of literal nightmares. And yet somehow Alien Earth manages to make them feel boring. Overexposed. The show does that TV thing where it keeps showing the monster constantly and somehow they think it's going to make it scary, but no, it just makes it feel like background extras. Just like in Jaws, remember when the alien was terrifying because you barely saw it? Now it's treated like a cat wandering into the kitchen, knocking stuff off shelves. Here's where it gets really depressing. Alien used to be smart. Aliens, the sequel, even more so. It was about survival, paranoia, and the tension between corporate greed and human life. But Alien Earth? This is a Disney product through and through. Characters that feel like checkboxes on a diversity spreadsheet, including a bargain rack Amelie with a crappy haircut.
To be fair, Amalie's hair wasn't flattering either. But yet another girl boss, a 12-year-old in an adult's body who literally lives in Neverland, is a little on the nose.
Dialogue that sounds like it was punched up by a committee afraid of offending anyone. A tone that swings wildly between gritty sci-fi horror and family-friendly drama because, heaven forbid, a Disney-owned show commit to actually truly being disturbing. It's the exact same half-assed disease that infected Star Wars and Marvel. Every property Disney has touched turns into the same bland soup. Different labels, same flavorless broth.
I piss more flavor.
But the real problem isn't just that the characters are dumb or that the xenomorphs are watered down. It's that Disney has no idea how to handle the properties it owns. They're treating Alien the exact same way they treated Marvel or Star Wars, as endless content machines. Their goal is not to entertain. Their goal is to pump out episodes to keep people subscribed to Hulu and Disney+. You lose the soul that made the franchise matter in the first place, and that goes for every IP I just mentioned. The problem is far deeper than Alien Earth. It's the death of risk-taking storytelling. It's corporate Hollywood. Now let's break down what's happening here. The original Alien was terrifying because the characters weren't stupid. They followed rules. They argued like actual people trapped in a life or death situation. The horror came from the inevitability of the monster, not the incompetence of the crew. Now, in 2025, TV writing leans on characters making boneheaded choices to push the plot forward. And instead of building tension, we just roll our eyes and think, oh great, here's another idiot I have no emotional investment or connection with about to get face hugged.
I give epic face hug.
Disney does not care about telling a good story. They care about IP retention. That means make sure every show connects to a larger universe. Leave room for spin-offs. Drag out every plot point for maximum episode count. The result? Pacing that is so slow it feels like we're watching people fill out paperwork in real time, sprinkled with just enough alien gore to remind us that this is technically a horror series. And the insult on top of injury? They market it like it's for the fans, as if we're supposed to cheer and clap them on the back because they throw in a Nostromo reference or slap an Easter egg on screen. But Easter eggs can't hide lazy writing, shallow characters, and a creative vision that died years ago. Okay, so here's the big picture. Alien Earth isn't just a bad show, it's a symptom, yet another symptom, of how corporate control has strangled creativity. Every time a character makes yet another forehead-slapping choice, every time a xenomorph pops up like it's auditioning for a sitcom, every time Disney sanitizes yet another franchise, it's proof that Hollywood has forgotten what made these stories timeless in the first place. The original Alien asked, what happens when human greed meets something we can't control? Alien Earth asks, how many stupid decisions can we cram into 8 episodes before you unsubscribe? At the end of the day, Alien Earth could have and should have absolutely been a return to form, a chilling, suspenseful drive into the nightmare fuel that Ridley Scott and H.R. Giger created. Instead, it is yet another reminder that Disney doesn't nurture the properties it buys. It milks them until they collapse. The characters are dumb. The story is shallow. The horror is absent. And once again, an iconic franchise gets dragged through the mud of corporate mediocrity. But what did you guys think? Let us know in the comments and stay fresh, cheese bags.